Hi, I'm Kayre Morrison. I'm going to be reading for both Bunny and for Debbi. So here's a Bunny. So Mrs. Shapinsky takes her 8-year-old grandson to the beach. This giant wave crashes onto him and it sweeps the little boy out to sea. She looks up to the heavens. "God," she says, "please, he is mine only grandson, and I love him more than life itself. Please, please bring him back to me." Suddenly, the waters part. She sees this beautiful ray of light shine down, and a golden dolphin is swimming toward shore with little Sammy on his back. The dolphin gently puts the little boy down onto the shore, and it swims off into this beautiful rainbow. Mrs. Shapinsky looks down at her grandson. Around the beach, up to God. He had a hat. You know, I never wanted to be a funny person. When I was very little, I used to make my mother laugh, and I'd say, "Not funny." All I ever wanted to be when I was little was not funny. One time when I was about 5, my mother said to me, "Funny, not funny, does not matter. You just promise me that you will never be boring." Well, okay, I did not know what that meant, so I said, "Ma, what's boring?" And she said, "Your father." I didn't want to be funny. I wanted to be a businesswoman. And right out of school, I got this job at this giant Madison Avenue ad agency, just like Mad Men. Yeah, they hired me as their first female copywriter. Then one great day, we got this amazing campaign, Tampax. Now, our top competitor was Modess, who made sanitary napkins, and they had this very decorous slogan that everybody in America knew. Modess, because. So, we all are in the executive conference room, all 15 men and me, and the creative director looks around the room ominously and he says, "Now, how are we going to compete with a slogan like Modess, because?" Well, I don't know. It just came out of my mouth. But I said, "How about Tampax? Insofar as." Most of the men laughed. Then they fired me. Later that afternoon, I was cleaning out my desk and I headed for the elevator. One of the young ad executives who had been in the meeting comes over to me and he says, "Bunny, you never could have been successful here." I was crushed. But then he lowered his voice and he said, "So let's start our own agency." You know what the first campaign was that I landed? Tampax. And that other agency who fired me, we bought them. Because. That's my dog barking. Hi again. Okay, I'm going to be reading for Debbi. I'm Kayre Morrison. Sorry about having to change locations, but we are having crazy storms out there, and it's really hard to find light. Anyhow, so Brostein and his girlfriend are having dinner one night, and he says to her, "You know, all the guys are talking about blowjobs." And she says, "Blowjobs? What's that?" So he does his best to explain it to her, but she says, I don't think I can do that." So he looks around the kitchen and he sees a ketchup bottle. So he says to her, maybe you could practice on this. A few days later, he comes over again. She's already in a nightgown. I've been practicing, she says. She takes his hand, she leads him up to the bedroom, drops her negligee off onto the floor. He lays back on the bed. She unzips his fly, takes out his penis, and goes. So, growing up in New York, I thought that everybody was Jewish. Well, okay, Jewish or Italian, which is Jewish, but with better cooking. I did not know what I was missing until I met Reed Harvey. Oh, 6'5", blonde, and my boyfriend from the time he carried my refrigerator up 3 flights of stairs to my dorm room at Cornell. Winter sophomore year, Reed invited me to go skiing with him up in Vermont, and on the way, he wanted to stop and see his aunt and uncle near Albany. Now, his uncle was a senator, and his aunt was an heiress of some sort, so the entire way there, I am practicing trying to cover up my Bensonhurst accent. And as we pulled into the driveway, I realized this is not a house, it's Downton Abbey. So his aunt and uncle are already waiting on the porch when we pull up, and I am incredibly nervous. All I can think to do is to talk about the weather. So after the introductions, I say, windy, innit? And without missing a beat, Whitney says, no, it's Thursday. And Rich says, so am I. Let's go get a beer. Oh, my grandpa Mo used to do the same routine with his brother. And now it's shtick for Congressman Richmond P. Rutherford and his wife. All we did that entire weekend was tell jokes. I mean, we told doctor jokes, Jewish jokes, a lot of golf jokes. Some of them I had heard 1,000 times before, and others were brand new to me. And I realized these were my people. After that, Reed and I would visit Whitney and Rich whenever we possibly could. They didn't have their own kids, and I have to say they treated me like their own daughter. Whitney even made me laugh when I called to tell her that Reed had dumped me. She said, Debbi, dear, I don't know if this is the right word, but if he dumped you, he's a schmuck. So Reed now lives up in Seattle with his wife, and I did marry a nice Jewish boy, and we have 2 beautiful kids, Richmond and Whitney Moskowitz.